Today's story is chapter 53. The man and the woman capable of doing great work. In the age of Alexander the Great, there lived a philosopher named Diogenes. While Alexander the Great sought world conquest, Diogenes was an itinerant philosopher who slept in a tub and appeared now in town, now in villages, leading people to virtue. Alexander heard about him and was impressed. He sent for him, intending to give him a reward. Diogenes promptly turned the invitation down. I have no business with the king. If he has business with me, let him come and see me. And so Alexander called on Diogenes. Thank you for guiding the people of this country, he said. Tell me what you want, and I promise I will fulfill your wish. Diogenes had been basking pleasurably in the sunlight. I'll tell you what I want, he said. I want you to get out of the way. You're blocking my sunlight. The power of Alexander the Great meant nothing to Diogenes. Centuries ago, a luxurious culture thrived in the domain of Kaga, north of Kyoto in Japan. The ruler of Kaga heard of the fame of the haiku poet Kobayashi Issa and ordered his retainer to have the poet write a verse for him. The retainer went to Issa's residence with a sheet of paper. The unimpressed poet spat into the inkstone and ground some ink. Then, with a broken-tipped brush, wrote out these words. What's the big deal? Even the glory of Kaga is dew on the grass. Nothing is so hard to deal with as a man who clings to neither money nor status, nor position, nor life. But only a man like that is capable of doing great work. But only a man and woman like that is capable of doing great work. Those were the words of the rebel and statesman Saigo Takamori. Yeah, this story is very impressive because it's really difficult not to cling to neither money nor status nor position or life itself. All people, I have to say, yeah, there might be some exception, but majority people cling on to this material asset and maybe non-material asset, non-material pleasure like romantic relationship. Those are the representative of our happiness. So in order to gain more money or higher status or what else, whatever, we do whatever that is required because in a sense that's our goal. That's what we are seeking for every day. So if somebody says, if you do this, I'll give you this much money, we follow that direction or suggestion. And in many cases, people bend their principles, people change their conviction to follow that guidance or to satisfy others' wish. Even though it's very important principle, we are prone to bend it. That's the power of money, or the the happiness we are seeking for. We want that so much, but there is something that's more important than money or status or other types of happiness. And this is what this itinerant philosopher was teaching people, which is, in one word, it is mentioned here, virtue. Yeah, the virtue is more important it was more important for the philosopher Diogenes, and he was teaching this to people. Don't be swayed by money or status. Take put more priority to cultivating wisdom and integrity and virtue. And then in the end, even if we don't bend our principles or initial purpose, we will be blessed with a lot of such happiness as a byproduct. But when we put the first priority to this happiness, we are prone to bend the most important principle. And then such happiness will surely fade away very quickly, and then we have to feel regret. But once we cultivate virtue and integrity and wisdom in ourselves, happiness of money status will come to us eventually without sticking on to them too much. And then, yeah, that's because we know that's the byproduct. That's not our purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? Yeah, Buddha clarified that for over the course of 45 years. So at the end of this chapter, the author mentioned one statesman. He's mentioned as rebel. He was not a bad guy. He was a great statesman, but he had to fight with the government of the ancient Japan because there was that was the transition period of Japan's history, and then Japan opened its country. The government collapsed, and the new government started, and so he had to do the real work to lead the whole nation to the right direction. So he did a great job. And then the author was amazed his policy. Nothing is so hard to deal with as a man or a woman who clings to neither money nor status, nor position nor life. Such a person is capable of doing great work. Because such a person will never bend his principle and philosophy or conviction for the sake of money and other personal gain. So this we have to keep this in mind when we pursue something very, very important. Okay, so that's what I think I can learn from this chapter.